besties, welcome back to the podcast. We are on the last episode of this season, but don't worry because we are back in May. And I just want to say, going into this last episode, I really hope that you've loved the season. And I feel confident enough to say that I think that you have. I've had people DM me. I've had people come up to me in person and at events and say that they listen while they get ready and they're listening while they're at the gym. And it just genuinely means the whole wide world to me. I don't know if I said this at any point, but I've had this podcast for years and I've never really loved it. And I couldn't find a style that felt meaningful to me. And it just didn't feel very me. And so when I brought it back in this format where I decided, you know what, I want this to be so valuable that it's like a freaking course. Like they have a whole course and every season has a focus. It's brought so much love to me and I've had so much fun with it. And it just seems like you guys have too, and you've gotten so much. And I've had people message me that they've literally made new life decisions from this, new habits. They feel like a whole new person from the podcast. And it just truly means so much to me. And so I'm sad that it's the last episode, but also I'm not going away for very long. Like we're just going to come back and drop it in May. So it'll probably be late May when this comes back. What I want to say though is this whole time that we're off, I would actually highly recommend re-listening to this in a very specific way. This whole season has been 12 episodes and the whole focus of it to do more in 12 weeks than most people do in an entire year, and maybe even you've done in the last year or definitely the last couple months. So what I want you to do while I'm gone, and I won't even be gone 12 weeks, so don't worry. I would love for you to re-listen and binge away. Like I love that you guys binge it however you want, but you could also be strategic and listen to 1 to maybe even 2, because I'm probably gonna be gone 2 weeks. So let's do this. Listen to 2 episodes per week and implement what I say. And I think you'll get really far if you do that. Let's say this. Listen to 2 episodes per week chronologically so that in the next 6 weeks, you're feeling like you can do more in those 6 weeks than ever before. The next little thing that I want to say to you guys is that I'm really hoping that for next season, I bring it with videos as well. Because right now I'm just sitting here on Zoom with my Fietta clients, like they're in a room with me watching me do this. So I figured if I do this on video with Fietta clients anyway, I may as well do it on video for you guys on YouTube. And I want to get more to YouTube anyway. Someone hold me to that pretty please. So I'm really hoping that these episodes come back with a little YouTube flair for you. And next season is going to be so much more focused on an expansive energy, really getting you guys into the self-talk, the frequency, the self-respect of realizing that you can do really big freaking things and you don't have to wait and it doesn't have to be hard. And I just want it to all feel really easy, light, and fun for you. And every single time I've had audacious and big success that I didn't think possible, I've been in that energy. So next season is really about creating that for you guys. But let's get into today's episode. So just this week, you guys, at the time of recording this, was 90 days into the 2026 year. We are 90 days into the year. And some of you are going to feel proud. Some of you might feel behind. Some of you feel like your year's already slipped. But it doesn't matter. Like, I don't want you to get bogged down by that because the next 90 days matter more than your first 90 days. And I think the thing that you guys are all gonna like is the fact that I'm a really big believer, I talked about this in episode 1, that results take a minute to come through. Results often take 90 days until you see them and you're like, oh shit, it's happening. Think about your body. If you go to the gym, you don't see it the first month necessarily, but you stick to something for 90 days, you're gonna have a whole new body by the time you're done. And now we're entering that season where 90 days from now, April, May, June, we enter July. It's summertime, okay? So I want you thinking now how you want to spend your next 90 days, because however you spend April and May and even some of June is who you're going to be in summer. So if the first 90 days hasn't been what you imagined, it is so possible to change that for the next 90. The time for summer is now, entering April, because that is when your summer self is going to be built. And before we get into kind of like the meat and potatoes of this episode, what I want to say is that the first 90-day sprint that I did with clients has been an insane, crazy success. Like I knew it would be successful, but I didn't realize how much people would be obsessed with it and love it. And they've basically demanded that I run it back for this summer sprint. But what they've been able to do is I'm just gonna give you a couple examples. Multiple clients paid off all of their debt. And it was not a small amount of debt. Others have saved $8,000, $10,000 on top of that. I've had clients launch multiple products or multiple businesses. I have one girl in particular, I'm so proud of her because she almost didn't join. She has launched 2 businesses in that time. And they're not just like, oh, little online businesses. She's literally launched a birth course for pregnant women, and she's launching a product business. She's launching a whole set of like nursing scrub outfits, you know what I mean? And it's just like crazy. That's insane. I've had clients lose 5 pounds, multiple pant sizes, 15 pounds in that time. One was able to stop binge eating and actually eat healthier, and she's been setting that goal for over a year. An entire year, she has wanted to try it and feels like she's just not been able to do it, and she did it in the sprint. One has been waking up at 5 a.m. to work out as a busy toddler mom before her full-time job as a breadwinner. Like, that's insane. Actually, let me read you another one that this is just direct from one person, and I'm so proud of him. It's so cool to see what he's done. So I'm just going to read off it exactly. So he said, going into 2026, I was going through a breakup, financial issues at home, and depression. So when I saw Mackenzie's 90-day sprint, I decided to give it a try, and the result was life-changing. Now, you got to remember that in these sprints, in the summer sprint that we're going to be doing, I'll talk about that in a second, we focus on 3 big goals or 3 areas of life that you want to transform. So for him, he wanted to transform content, school, and his health. So for content, he said, my original goal was to go from 600 followers to 1,500 followers in the 90 days. In 1 month, I had grown to 6,500 followers. So he literally 10x'd his audience with 35 million views across all videos in 30 days. He started to monetize his content, and it was able to actually fix some of his personal financial issues. And then in school, that was his second area. He said, going into the year, I had a 2.0 GPA. And after doing the 90-day sprint, it's currently at a 3.5 while being 2 weeks ahead on 5 of my classes. And then his third area was health. He said, this challenge helped me break year-long addictions, bringing my average screen time down by 6 hours a day. And it's also helped me get into the best shape of my life. I just think that's bonkers. Like, that is banana nuts crazy in my head. And it's just the power of what we teach you inside the actual sprint. So I want to let you guys know that starting next week, literally next week, I know I'm not giving you a lot of time here, but next week we are starting another 90-day sprint where you can join the program for $697. And if you're a Fieta client, you can get it for even less. Just message me about that if you are a Fieta girly. But you'll be able to literally do the same. And so much of how we actually focus on doing that is building up your capacity, building up your discipline in a way that only I do it, and building up your daily habits and standards so that you're actually able to do this. And I teach a whole system inside. It's called my self-made system. And I basically outline exactly how to approach the 90 days and even break it down by what to do that month, that week, and every single day. And the really cool thing is that we give you protocols for all the typical blocks that tend to take you guys out of actually fully going all in on your goals. So whether you're overwhelmed or you're facing complacency or you're feeling the pressure or you're getting into perfectionism, you're starting to spiral, like whatever those blocks are, we have protocols inside of exactly what to do when you start to face those blocks and instead do this protocol. But the really cool thing that I've noticed is that as these girls work the protocols, not only are they not getting pulled out of their goals, not only are they getting to the results faster, but they're actually changing their relationships with their blocks and patterns entirely. In addition, you get coaching calls with me. You get to talk to me every single day in the community. I am literally on top of what you do for all 90 days, and it's literally only $697. It's insane. It's also bananas, nuts, crazy. I only have a couple spots left. If you want to join, I would love to have you. I genuinely would. If you've loved this podcast, you will be obsessed with what is inside the sprint. And the cool thing is, if you join tier 2 of Fieta, you get it for free. You get the sprint for free and all my other courses. 90 days is enough to radically change your life if you decide it is and fully commit to it. So I want to invite you to join the sprint. I'm going to actually just leave the link in my show notes. I would love for you to hop in. I would love to have this episode go out and wake up and have 10 new girlies inside. Like, I just think you can really do it. And I promise you, they literally just applied what I taught in the sprint. A lot of them were facing the same quitting patterns, the same overwhelm, the same frustration, the same narratives of why are results taking me so long? And they did these crazy things. So I would love to have you inside. But let's get into this episode. What I wanted to spend the last episode doing is, especially because you're going to run your own 90-day sprint, or you guys are going to join the sprint inside Fiera, I wanted to kind of go through so many of the reasons in the blocks that I saw people get stuck on, or the patterns that I saw that I see in the people who aren't in the sprint with me. And I want you to kind of be able to fix them over the next 90 days. And what I hope you take away from this episode is this kind of sentiment of like, wait, I can actually do something insane in the next 90 days. So that by the time I enter summer, I feel richer, hotter, happier, all the things. Okay, so number one, what I've noticed, it's not that you can't do it. It's that it's too easy for you to break your word to yourself right now. And I'm going to say something, bestie, that might hurt your feelings, but you lack the level of self-respect where it actually really, really matters to you if you break your word. So often, why I see this is because you don't have any immediate consequences for breaking your own word to yourself. If you don't go to the gym, if you don't eat the way you said you would, if you don't post like you said you would, if you don't sell like you were going to, you might not like it, but it's just not that big of a deal to you. It's really convenient and easy for you to break your word. You are master negotiators. And trust me, I'm a master negotiator too. And I literally have a video in the sprint course that teaches you how to not ever do that again. And once I learned the protocol that I teach inside there, oh my God, I'm just so much more disciplined for it. But if you want to be someone who you can do more in 90 days than you've done the last year, it has to be a big deal to you if you break your word to yourself. And so often, the person you want to be, the women and other people that you look up to, the version who you think about literally every single day, the hallmark of that person is almost always self-respect. You have high regard for yourself. You speak to yourself with a lot of just honesty, but also love. You know what I mean? You keep that word to yourself, obviously. You go after what you want. You have a level of respect for your body, your goals, your relationships, the things in your life, your time, but you're not acting like that now. And it's not that you can't do what you want. It is that it is so easy and convenient and no big deal right now when you break your word to yourself. Like some of you guys, even today listening to this, you said you were going to go to the gym and you didn't. You said you were going to post and you've negotiated and said tomorrow's fine. There's things on your to-do list that aren't getting done. And you said, I swear I'm going to get them done today. No, it's just too easy for you to break your word. It's not a big enough deal to you. So that's number one. Number two is a little spicy too. I love you though. Number two is most of you like the idea of being ambitious, love calling yourselves ambitious. But what's actually happening is you have a fantasy of who you could be, but you kind of slowly fall off your goals once the novelty wears off. I just looked up the definition just to be sure before I talked out of my ass, but the definition of ambition is literally having or showing a strong desire and determination to succeed. Now, I think so many of us have a strong desire to succeed, but do you actually have a strong determination to succeed? And I think the difference there is when you have a strong desire, yes, like so many people have a strong desire to succeed, but who actually become successful are the ones who have that determination. They have ambition with action. And there's a very common phrase that ambition without action breeds anxiety, and it does, but so often I think why that actually happens is because you're a little bit more in the fantasy. You want to protect yourself, you want to protect the fantasy, you want to protect your image, you want to be validated more than you actually want the execution and more than you are actually determined to succeed. And I think with that ego part, when you desire the big success and you feel ambitious and you call yourself ambitious, but you're not fully executing or going all in or committing, you get to feel really good about yourself and pat yourself on the back and have this idea of I have so much potential, but you don't get anywhere. You're left in the same position. You're left getting to feel good about yourself, but one day you're gonna wake up and be like, I'm not where I want to be. And some of you have already had that. I've had that. Like, I think everyone has it at some point, but it's kind of like, what are you gonna do about it? How long are you gonna tell yourself you're gonna go after it without going after it? So I think so many of us really like the idea of being ambitious, and we like to think of and see ourselves as ambitious. But really be clear, is ambitious what I'd like to be, what I've been, or something that's very clearly seen in my behaviors? Do I have a desire to succeed? Or do I also have the determination to succeed that's showing in my actions? Because many people, I'm gonna say it, many people don't actually want their life to change as much as they say. I'm coming out with, I think next week, it's gonna be fun. I think next week I'm coming out with just this low ticket product, high shit value though, let me say, long ass videos on how I made $200,000 my first year of business with under 1,500 followers. It's going to be a slamming offer, to be quite honest with you. Under $99, by the way. And I mean, the first video alone was 40 minutes, which is crazy. It's a whole masterclass. But anyway, what am I saying? One thing that I got reminded of so deeply in creating that offer, because I've had to think so much back to my first year in business, is that there was not a single part of me that was trying to stay in my familiar. Like, no part of me. I was racing towards actually changing my life. It doesn't mean I wasn't afraid. I was petrified a lot of the time. I didn't know how things were going to work out. I was operating on a shit ton of faith. But I told you guys, I think last episode, that fear and faith ask the same thing of you. They ask you to believe in something you cannot see. I was afraid, but I was always living in faith. And I really, really meant it when I said I wanted to change my life. But so many of you guys verbally say you want to change your lives. You swear up, down, sideways, you want it, you want it, you want it. But what do your behaviors show? Do you sabotage? Do you pull back? Do you get in your own way? Have you had the same goal for forever because you haven't fully pursued it? Yeah, right? Like, you have to look at that behavior. So number 3 then, you think it's enough to be aware of your patterns, but many of you don't actually know how to break them. You might informationally know what is going on with you, but you don't know how to get out of it or embody something different. We are the most informed generation. Some, not all, some would say maybe even the most self-aware generation. Yet execution is so rare because knowledge is not wisdom. I need you to hear that back a couple times. Knowledge is not wisdom. Knowledge, information that you may have consumed is not the same as wisdom. It's not the same as embodiment. It's not the same as living it. You have not yet lived the knowledge you've consumed. Until you actually live it, actively cut out your patterns that block you, you will repeat them. That's human nature. No one's getting out of that. But then we wonder why we're not further. And that's what I really love about the course that you get in Fiera Tier 2 as well, is just those protocols. So when you feel the pressure, when you're overwhelmed, when you want to negotiate, when you're getting stuck in perfectionism, when you're getting complacent, when you're spiraling about results, it's not just teaching you the info and giving you info that you've consumed endlessly in the personal development space. I literally give you step by step. You're going to, number 1, do this. Now, number 2, you're going to go do this. Now, number 3, you're going to do this. Then number 4, you do this. It's literally how to change. And I was also saying this in the video that I made, the first video I made for that low ticket product coming out around monetizing content that first year with a small audience. I used to, guys, when I was younger, like I swear, I bought self-help books at 14 that most people read in their 30s. But in all those margins, I was scribbling, but how. And I think such a big reason that people's lives change so deeply in Fiera and why people come and get obsessed. I literally had someone this week say, she joined for the $99 per month in Tier 1. She was like, I will do everything in my power to stay in this program as long as humanly possible, because holy shit, the way I feel differently 2 weeks in this program because of the way you teach things is life-changing. But I think for so many people, we consume. You're given knowledge about the thing, but you're not given the how to change. And that's why Fiera is so popular, is because I wrote in those margins for years, how. It doesn't ever tell you how. And then I went and spent that year when I was 23 figuring it out myself. Stop consuming. I figured it out myself, and everything that I learned and still do to this day is now in Fiera. And that's why girls love it, because it's the how, and those protocols have the how. It's those 1, 2, 3, 4 steps that you do to actually get out of these blocks. And then you actually get to change that relationship with those blocks until they're not your block anymore. So it's not, I need you to know that it's just simply not enough to be aware of your patterns. Like, I can be aware that my sleep pattern is messed up, but just because I know it doesn't mean I'm changing it. I can be aware that I'm sabotaging, but until I stop sabotaging, it doesn't mean anything. If you are stuck in awareness, that is one of 3 pieces that I teach inside Fiera that you need to actually get out of your patterns. But so many people get stuck there. They're aware. They deepen their awareness so much, but that doesn't mean anything. It's great. It's necessary. It's the first of 3 steps. But you're getting stuck at 1, and you need to get through 1, 2, and 3 to break your pattern. So that's what I want you focusing on too. Where am I aware of my patterns, but not changing them, and why? And even if I know why, it's not enough. What am I gonna do about it? And that's why people love Fiera. Okay, number 4, your mental game takes you out more than you think. This one's just so big. If you predict failure, you're gonna be disappointed by results. And when I say predict failure, I mean, you're just a little worried of like, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work out? Yeah, you do that, you're going to be disappointed by your results. If you predict that it's all too much to handle, you're going to feel overwhelmed. If you predict that you don't have what it takes, you're not going to execute. Going back to the awareness, we know that mindset is a big deal, but unless you are living it and changing it, that's not wisdom. It's just information that you are not integrating. Number 5, I'm so frustrated about this one. Number 5, you grossly underestimate what you are capable of, bestie. Every single one of you, myself included, you so underestimate what you are capable of doing. And I'm so heated about this one that's why I'm making season 2 all about this. I want you to stop underestimating yourself. And it's very interesting, the verbiage of the girls not yet in Fiera versus those who are, because many of them in my DMs, whether you realize it or not, and whether you're explicitly saying it or not, operate from the mentality of, well, this is just how I am, or this is my pace, or this is always how it plays out for me. What's happening is that you're so used to normalizing what your averages have been or putting limitations on yourself that it's very rare for you to understand that you can pull off so much more. Girls who join these sprints, well, guys too, because there's guys in there as well, but people who join these sprints achieve way more than they're used to, but it often feels like less for them. And I want to be really clear on that. They end up achieving more, doing more, but it feels like less than the amount of work they were doing before the sprint because we're building your capacity. I saw this over and over. Someone will set a goal and think, if I hit this, that would be insane. And even as you saw with that one example that I gave you, he wanted to 2x basically his audience in 3 months, and he 10x'd it in 1 month. And people ask how? No, it doesn't. You don't need to know how. What you do need to know is that most of us are operating at like 40% of our real capacity. That's why. What has happened with so many of these girls is they've demanded more of themselves in their standards, in their confidence, in their levels of discipline, in their capacity. And so they're able to do so much more, but it feels like less. You're underestimating yourself. Number 6, you are not necessarily undisciplined. It's just that you don't actually know the levers you would have to pull to increase your productivity. So often, discipline and productivity are words that are almost interchangeable in a lot of people's vocabulary. And I just don't think it should be, because I think there's different things going on. So that is a really big deal of what people have learned inside the sprint, is that discipline is not the same as productivity. And as I talked to you on, I think it was episode 10 on discipline is a mix of self-regulation and self-respect. Productivity is not necessarily that. And I have a video inside the sprint that has changed so many girls' lives. And I've had girls rewatch it, and I've sent it to other ones, because I talk about productivity as actually 4 different levers to pull. So many of you guys want to be more disciplined, yes, but you also want to be more productive, but you don't know how. And your typical method to solve both productivity or discipline is just try harder, focus more, which isn't the solution. And inside I teach the 4 levers to really pull, and it's how I have 5x my work ethic over the last year or so. Number 7, doing more in 12 weeks than 12 months is not magic, bestie. It's available to you right now. It is raised levels of confidence, discipline, and standards. People are not entering these sprints and being sprinkled with like magical productivity pixie dust. But when you understand how to build momentum, you will realize that motivation, which you're probably currently relying on, it becomes irrelevant. When someone can stack 3 discipline days, then 7, and then that becomes 3 weeks, their brain starts to believe, oh, this is who I am. And then you start to develop the identity of a disciplined person, and that starts to do the heavy lifting. But if you don't understand how to build that consistently, it's going to be really hard to create it for yourself, which is why you guys tend to, and this is the pattern I see, you tend to be able to stick to your goals for like 3 weeks, maybe 5, but then you fall off because the novelty is worn off, the motivation has worn off, your patterns came back up. So I want you to really implement these 7 things that I've told you in this episode to see how much further you can actually get and to implement everything I've said in this whole season. So what I want to say is like, let me actually ask you this. Do you know why so many people are attracted into my energy? Yes, it's the confidence. And I'm not even doing what I'm about to tell you perfectly. Like, I'm not. But so many people are actually attracted to my energy beyond, like, ignore the confidence part, because you're seeing someone who's actually going after what they want. And that's just more rare. I'm not special by any means. Like, you could do it better than me probably, but most just don't do it. What you actually see that attracts a lot of people in is you see me being built. You see my growth. And so many people, especially online, they talk about goals, they give you information on goals, but that doesn't mean they live it. And I think you see me being built, which is what so many people want. So it makes sense you're attracted to it. But I want you guys to see that so that you can see that you can do it too. Like, that's all I really want for you guys. Like, genuinely, I just want so many people to realize that the life you want is available. It's just waiting for you to build it. The people who change their life in 12 weeks aren't always the most talented or the most prepared or the most disciplined. They were just the ones who decided they were going to start expecting more of themselves and following through on it. And yes, they were given the system and structure and everything inside Fiera to do it. But people wildly underestimate what 90 days of focused, disciplined execution can do. And I want to say too, not a single girl inside has burnt out. Not a single girl inside has been sabotaging. Not a single girl inside has had to hustle. Not a single girl inside has had to sacrifice her well-being. Quite the opposite. They're actually way happier. They have more money. They're more fit. They're more confident and disciplined. I've watched people erase problems they've been carrying around for years in a single 90-day season. So you are not broken. You are not behind. But I want to challenge you over the next 6 weeks when you don't have me in your ear. Well, you will actually, let me say this. You will have me in your ear because you're going to keep listening to this podcast, but not a new episode every week until the next season. I want you to know that you're not lacking. You're just simply not fully committed. And it might feel hard or scarier because you're lacking the system to really build it, which that's literally what Fiera is. It gives you the tools, the training ground, the system, the action. You need action, the things that you actually have to implement to not just be aware that you want more and aware of the patterns, but fully actually change it. It's okay that you want a big life. It's okay you want the money, the body, the freedom, the business, the brand, the experiences. The only question is, am I really ready to fully commit and do it? And do I have the tools and the system to build that confidence, the self-respect, the regulation, the self-trust to get over the fears? And if you don't, come join Fiera. If you don't want to struggle as hard anymore, come join Fiera. If you just want to do it faster, join Fiera. If you just want to be in a community of people who are doing it with you, you want friends, you want to literally hop on a call. I'm literally on a call right now with them, right? Like, come join Fiera. And I hope that by the time the next episode comes out at the end of May, you are in a completely different place. That is what I want for you because you were literally born to win. I hope you love this episode. Please, as usual, screenshot it, share it on your stories, tag me, come DM me what's come up for you. Keep listening. I cannot stress this enough. Keep listening. Act like this is a course that you paid for. Rewatch it. Get the most out of it. And I really, really hope that you're so excited for the next season coming towards the end of May. With videos. I'm just going to say it so I'm really held to that standard, but with videos. And keep coming on socials. Come follow me on Instagram at MackenzieCo, MakenZieco. Come DM me, and thank you so much. I had so much fun with this episode. I don't even want to stop talking because I don't want it to end, but it's literally coming back so soon. So I will catch you guys soon. Tag me, DM me, and you got this.